Hi, I'm Kelly Golden. I work at UBS in a field called Capital Introduction, and UBS is a Swiss bank, but they have an investment bank, wealth management. They have all these different areas. I work within the investment bank. So Capital Introduction is in its best kind of simplest form. It's basically matchmaking between investors, people that want to grow their money, and the hedge funds, which is an investment firm that believes they can grow their money for them. And so my job is to identify what the best traits of a hedge fund are and match them with investors who I think could be interested in investing with them. Primarily, it's a lot of relationship building, which is why I kind of gravitated towards this job. Is that it's about talking to people, getting to know them, understanding how they think about investing on the investor side. So I'm working with all kinds of investors, whether it be, maybe a wealthy individual, an endowment, pension funds, which manage money for, say, a teacher's retirement fund. They're all looking to grow that capital. And so my job is to understand how they want to grow that capital, in what way, how much risk can they take, things like that. And then on the client side, it's understanding what these hedge funds, how they invest the money, and making sure it's a fit for the priorities that these investors are looking to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up, so I think I remember that feeling very well. And so my kind of goal when I was looking at colleges and trying to decide where to go was just to kind of keep as many doors open as possible and not try to decide something that I didn't know too early. And so I decided to do business as my undergrad degree. I went to USC, University of Southern California in LA, and they had a kind of very broad business program, and I really enjoyed it because you got to learn a little bit about everything in business, whether it be finance, which is ultimately where I ended up, but I also learned about marketing, and I learned about accounting, and I kind of enjoyed that really broad education, and it gave me some breathing room and time to figure out kind of where I felt like I personally gravitated to. So that was, I think in retrospect, that was a great way to approach it. And, I was very eager to kind of get a great internship, which is super important when you're in college, especially between your junior and senior year of college. You have a chance to go do an internship, and choosing that company is really important because I think it helps you get real tangible work experience. And I got to intern in the finance field, and I learned that I really liked it. And so that's why I decided to kind of pursue a career in this field. And, I got my first job. Basically, there was a newsletter at USC that went around that had some job postings in it. And I found a little advertisement for this job, and it ended up kind of launching me into this world, and specifically like the hedge fund world. This job that I found was kind of dedicated to a hedge fund role, and so it kind of launched me in that direction. And then I guess from there, how I ended up at UBS, I think, one thing to think about as you're thinking about your career long term is, getting an undergrad degree is something that a lot of people do, and then you go into the field, and then a lot of people choose to do their MBA, which is a master's. And, for me, I ultimately made the decision that I didn't want to get my master's, but what I did is I interviewed a ton of people about that decision, whether to get it and whether to not get it. And I learned a lot about different people's fields and their careers, and it helped me really kind of figure out what my next step was going to be. And while I ultimately decided not to get my MBA, it introduced me to some people that I ended up getting this, my current job, connected to through those people. So it's a good way to kind of talking to a lot of people, and networking is a super important skill, and it's open to everyone, and it's just a great way to keep building your career. I spent a lot of time in the career office in college. I mean, they have incredible resources. You can take your resume in, they can review it. I did that like 5 times to try to get my resume to a great place. They have all the listings of every company that has told your college that they are hiring and looking for interns. And then another great resource is your professors. So I don't underestimate your professors, and first of all, they're going to come from the field, so they already have great networks, and they're really more than happy to help you tap into those. And so I spent a lot of time in my professors' offices just talking to them about what they thought I should do as an internship, anything they had heard about. And that really helped me to kind of understand the different opportunities. And I applied to probably, you want to apply to like a lot of internships because they can be competitive. So I think I probably applied to 20 internships, and then I was able to kind of choose the one that was right for me. And part of what I wanted is I wanted to be in the Bay Area. I was down in LA and my family was up here and I wanted to spend the summer here. So I was able to find an internship in finance in the Bay Area because I kind of kept that wide net open. The best part of my job is talking to people. I'm an extrovert. I like talking to people all day, and I enjoy trying to get them to understand who I am and trust me, and making sure I'm a really good advocate for them and what they need. So kind of building that trust, building relationships, and being a really honest person, and that's what I really enjoy about it. The challenging part of my job is it's really busy. So you're having kind of flow from every part of people wanting your attention, lots of emails. It's a very high and fast-paced environment to work in, so that can be really challenging. I didn't necessarily, when I was young, dream of working in finance. I think it's kind of like a field that has a lot of stigma, that it's like boring and dry. And I think finance can actually be what you make of it. There are so many different roles in finance. I've happened to find like the most social job in finance. And while I do really like math, and I think having like a strong math background is probably very helpful, I think that there are tons of jobs where any kind of skill set could be applied. So I think it's important to just kind of change the frame around the finance field, because you can be creative. You can be a marketer, you can be in cap intro, you can be a client relationship manager, but you can also do like kind of what people might think about as like trading stocks and things like that. Those jobs exist too, but there's just a whole field that's so open. And one thing I'd say to girls, this field needs women. They need girls like you to come in. And honestly, I personally like that, I feel like kind of special in a way, because there aren't that many women in this field. And so I highly encourage people to explore it and understand and talk to people like me. I'm more than happy to talk to anyone about different areas in this field that, sound interesting or could be applied to something that you love to do, because I do think we're really wanting more women to enter this field, and I think it's a great opportunity for women like you to come up and explore and dominate. So.